You're watching Behind the Screens. Grab some popcorn, fill up a drink, and take a seat. Our feature presentation is about to begin.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you may be listening. Welcome back to a very special episode of Behind the Screens. I'm Chris Chason, and joined as always is my co-host and best friend, Mike Lickowed. Mike, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm very well today, Chris, and I'm very happy to be back for another movie segment of Behind the Screens as we return to the well of DC for another look at the DC Cinematic Universe.
So, time to assemble the league?
It seems like it's finally time, my friend. We've been building up to this the entire time we've been talking about these movies and cinematic franchises. More so with the X-Men movies, because that's kind of like a given for them.
Yep.
But team assemblage movies. Now, these are my favorite kind of superhero films.
Yes, me too.
When a bunch of heroes are seen on screen doing amazing things together, having development, drama, comedy, and incredibly amazing choreographed action scenes.
Yeah, except this one kind of dropped the ball.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that, because after so many years of building it up, the DC Cinematic Universe was finally ready to match Marvel with a team-up film of their own. We'll be getting to the Marvels one next time, my friends.
Oh, yeah.
But as of today, we're hitting the incredibly amazing Zack Snyder's 2017 film, Justice League.
This film has been in anticipation for an entire year.
Indeed. I still remember when me and Chris were back in our junior year of high school, we were hyped to see this film in theaters.
Yeah, and even though we both thought Batman v Superman and Man of Steel were okay, we were still excited.
We were still very excited, as with many of our other classmates, to go see this movie. I believe we were working on a musical at the time, right?
We were, yes.
Yeah, we were working on it, keeping the tabs on Rotten Tomatoes and the critics, piping it up for the early screenings. We were so hyped to see this film in November of 2017.
Yeah, in fact, we saw it day one.
We did, actually. I still have the photo that you took of me with the standee.
Yeah, but so does this movie still hold up 5 years later? Well, that's what we're about to find out.
Yep, this film is directed by Zack Snyder, written of all people by Chris Terrio, with some rewrites by Joss Whedon, the actual director of the first two Avengers movies.
Yeah, who would have thought?
So I wonder if that has anything to do with affecting this film altogether. This is the official follow-up to 2016's Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. The film stars Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller, Jason Momoa, Ray Fisher, Diane Lane, Connie Nelson, Amber Heard, and J.K. Simmons.
There's a lot.
There's a massive cast for this massive movie that's only 2 hours long.
Yeah, an exact 2 hours. Who would have thought?
It's weird how it was exactly 2 hours long, too.
You rarely see that.
Yeah, exactly, my friends. Without further ado, let us now dig into 2017's Justice League.
All right, here we go.
Thousands of years ago, Steppenwolf and his legion of parademons had attempted to take over the Earth using the combined energies of the three mother boxes. The attempt was foiled by a unified alliance including the Olympian gods, Amazons and Atlanteans, humanity and extraterrestrial beings. After Steppenwolf's army was repelled, the mother boxes were separated and hidden in different locations. In the present, humanity is still in mourning 2 years after the death of Superman.
2 years?
Yeah, so of course we cut 2 years. This is takes place 2 years after Dawn of Justice. However, the death of Superman triggered the mother box's reactivation somehow, and now
plot convenience.
And now apparently Steppenwolf is returning to Earth to get them to start his invasion all over again.
When did we get to Skyrim? Because the way he entered.
Yeah, we'll definitely be getting to that when the time comes. Steppenwolf aims to gather the boxes to form something called the Unity, which will destroy Earth's ecology and terraform it into the image of Steppenwolf's homeworld, the world of the new gods of Apocalypse. Which I'm thinking to myself, okay, so believe it or not, this is something that we did not originally mention in our Dawn of Justice review. Lex Luthor was communicating with Steppenwolf after Superman's death.
In a way, yeah.
And of course telling him that, hey, the Earth is now free to be invaded, you can come whenever you want.
Yeah, and now we're here.
Yep, and now we're here. Let's see exactly what's going to happen next. Steppenwolf manages to retrieve one of the mother boxes from Themyscira, prompting Queen Hippolyta to warn her daughter Diana of the coming threat. And of course, let me tell you, seeing all the characters from the Wonder Woman movie was absolutely pretty cool.
Yeah, but I will admit though, is it just me or do the Amazons' outfits look a little different this time?
They looked a bit more revealing than they used to.
I know they're warrior women, but that's a bit much, Zach.
They seem to have a bit more modesty despite being warrior women in the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
Despite them doing all these flips, it seems like they were trying a little too hard to appeal to a certain audience.
Yeah.
However, let us not talk about that. Let's talk about exactly...
I think you're missing a scene. Batman takes down a parademon.
Yeah, you see, at the beginning of the movie, the first time we see Ben Affleck's Batman in this movie, it's weird because he's not all that brooding. His colors look way more blue than they used to be.
He's still wearing black and gray, but...
Really?
Yeah, I guess, but oh well.
So apparently Batman is... Wait, did I want to talk about this? Okay, yeah, okay. So Batman does use a thug or something, right?
Yep.
He uses a thug on a rooftop in Gotham City to lure one of the parademons to him so he can study it.
Because according to Batman, fear attracts them.
Yeah, so fear attracts these things, right? And then apparently it explodes and leaves a message on a wall or something.
Matches exactly with Luthor's notes.
Yeah, and literally... Okay, I do have to find this, there's at least one stupid moment right here.
Yep.
So Batman is talking to Alfred, and the goon is literally 10 feet away.
Yeah, and I bet the guy is not that stupid. He probably looks up and is like, Alfred. Oh my god, Bruce Wayne!
Okay, just push him off the roof, problem solved.
Yeah, that works.
Oh my god. So basically, then of course let's get back to the scene of Steppenwolf stealing the first mother box.
Oh yeah.
He looks awful.
Yeah, again, what the heck happened here? It looks like most of the VFX went to a video game character.
It really, really does. The dude looks exceptionally unpolished, boring, and uninspired.
Now I'm
a spiky chin, a spiky helmet.
A weird horn helmet, and it looked like, I don't know why, but when he landed, it looked like he was wearing sneakers.
It really does. He looks like he wears sneakers and a skirt, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, that's not very manly for a new god.
Because let me tell you, the villains in these movies haven't been all that impressive.
Yeah, Marvel's had their problems too, but at least they got better. This is just...
I know that at least by movie 5 or 4 or 5, Marvel got their villains down. DC, Zod was just fine, just like an average Kryptonian in silly looking armor. Lex Luthor was a criminally over the top and sometimes badly performed.
Yeah. Enchantress was forgettable.
Was forgettable as all crap.
Ares was just his main problem was the look.
Yeah, the look was the only issue.
And Steppenwolf was the same thing.
Exactly. The look is the main issue right there. So he does get the box, and he manages to get away from the Amazons, and they have to summon, to signal Diana that the threat is coming. Diana goes to Bruce Wayne in an attempt to unify the other metahumans to their cause that they talked about at the end of Dawn of Justice.
About time.
Bruce goes after Aquaman and the Flash. Of course, they're not... Specifically, some of them are mentioned as that in the movie. Bruce goes after Arthur Curry first on some weird island town or whatever, and it says that he needs to find him the Aquaman. It says, "I heard you could talk to fish." It's
what the heck,
bro? Okay.
I mean, he's not wrong, but the way he said that's just so stupid.
Now, normally, I would joke with Aquaman like this, my friends, because before all of this, before I met Chris, I hated Aquaman so much. Believe me, I think who the hell would ever want to be saved by this man in this gorge guppy suit right here? But then, I saw Jason Momoa. The dude was perfect.
He looked ripped.
Yeah, this dude was buff and scary. It's I loved him in Game of Thrones, and I loved him here.
Yeah, although I was gonna say, yeah.
It's okay, so from what I'm remembering exactly from this scene. Let me see this thing right here. Okay, so Bruce Wayne fails to persuade Aquaman to his cause, saying that he only fights for the ocean, right?
Yeah.
He fights for the underwater people. They share some weird out of place humor, and then he takes his shirt off, and then he gets in the water.
Yeah, apparently the saying is strong man's the strongest man. You ever heard that saying? That's not the saying. That's the opposite of the saying. And I'm thinking to myself, what? What the
It's
hell?
like, okay, when the hell were there this many jokey jokes in any of these movies?
I mean, DC has done lighthearted stuff before, but this is the wrong way to do it.
Yep. Meanwhile, Diana goes to persuade Victor Stone, Cyborg, the Teen Titan, to the Justice League.
Yeah, this movie was really inspired by the New 52 Justice League, where Cyborg was a founding member.
I've always hated that. I've not always hated him being a league member in the New 52.
I even had to admit that was a little stupid.
I know, and all in an attempt to put more people of color in the league. And 100% it's like, yeah, they did that stuff back 20 years ago when they had Jon Stewart in the league.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It was just so out of nowhere frickin' crazy. But we have to look at the really interesting parts of this movie, like the set pieces. Like when Bruce Wayne goes to get the attention of Barry Allen, played by Ezra Miller, at his home. After, isn't it true that Ezra Miller's The Flash is going to see his dad in prison, right?
That's right.
Because so this follows the comic timeline of Barry Allen's father being wrongfully accused of murdering his mother when he was a child, and he's going to see him trying to prove his innocence. In the police station, there's this weird scene of Barry using his powers to draw a mustache on a douchebag's face.
I will admit, it was kind of funny.
It was for like 5 minutes, and then every single time I saw it afterwards, like, okay, can we move on, please?
It's still smart, but
oh my goodness,
it does lose its levity on a few reviewings.
Indeed. So Barry goes home, and then Bruce is sitting in his second favorite chair.
Why his second favorite chair? I never got that.
Because he's quirky. He's supposed to be the.
That is true. Yes.
He's supposed to be the weird. No, I'm not saying weird. I'm saying he's the quirky one.
Like trying to be like Spider-Man in a way.
Yep.
I get that. But then, of course, like Barry lists off an interesting resume. Viola, web design, Gorilla Sign Language, so hints at Gorilla Grodd.
A tease, perhaps, maybe.
Yeah, but then, of course, we see Flash's suit, and I really love the suit.
It's honestly a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I know it's really haphazardly put together and not all that.
Yeah, but we got to remember, this is a young Flash we're dealing with here.
Yes, and I loved how it looked.
And I love how the fact that in order for Bruce to prove Barry has the speed, he throws a batarang, and then time just slows down, and Barry grabs it, and he's like, "You're the Batman? Yeah. I'm putting together a team. Stop right there. I'm in."
He just immediately agreed.
I'm like,
it's
wow.
crazy.
He's like, "You are? Yeah, I need friends, but should we talk about that whole thing, that tangent?"
We have to.
Apparently Barry went on a tangent about complaining about brunch.
Yes.
Who does that?
Said, what is brunch? You wait in line for
like an hour
for essentially lunch. It's like, no.
That's just, why would you say that?
So-
Chris, what were you thinking? Josh, what were you thinking?
Cringy as my guy. But then, of course, we go outside and everybody's agreeing, and it's like, it's still kind of awkward, but it's like, okay, I get it's like a surrogate father, teenage son kind of thing.
Yes.
But then, of course, we have a pretty decent scene, even though it's not lit very well. We have Diana going to talk to Victor Stone, who's all brooding and stuff, because he's hiding behind a hood, because he hates being half a robot. He thinks he's a monster.
I mean, we kind of saw that in Teen Titans a little.
We do, I know,
you know.
but it's much different seeing it in live action.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact his father's played by Joe Morton from Terminator 2. That guy cannot stay away from robots.
Joe Morton is a fantastic actor. The dude looks basic as heck, but he has talent to spare.
That's true,
I tell you.
And then, of course, Diana tries to get through to Victor, but ultimately is like, no.
Nope, he just dips right
I'm
out
like,
there.
come on, dude!
I mean, I guess it you do see sprinkles of stuff from Wonder Woman in this movie, like when like Diana mentions Steve and him dying 100 years ago.
Yeah, because, continuity.
I know, so it's like, yeah, like your boyfriend died 100 years ago and you're still grieving. I get it. It's like, oh my god, it's so crazy. Diana fails to persuade Cyborg to the Just League cause, but he agrees to help them locate the threat, but not anything else. The Cyborg joins after his father and several other members of a building called Star Labs are kidnapped by Steppenwolf, who is now seeking the box of humanity. And of course he has to find it, and thinks that just grabbing random people off the street will be getting him the box faster.
What? That makes no sense.
Okay, so Steppenwolf attacks Atlantis, right? We finally see what Atlantis looks like in the DC Cinematic Universe. It's just like one room. It's like...
I mean, there was an Aquaman movie coming, so we just know we would see more. But as of now, Yikes.
Well, okay, technically it's not Atlantis. It's more an Atlantean outpost where the box is hidden.
Yeah, true.
And of course, hidden it right there, forcing Aquaman into action. And of course, Steppenwolf manages to get the next box, which that was hecka easy.
Yeah, too easy.
You guys are hiding the box.
And the way they fight underwater, it's like I'm looking at water combat from Ocarina of Time, where you only had to use the hook shot.
Yeah, I know,
so
right?
stupid.
It's so weird. And of course, Victor manages to get the last mother box for the group, revealing that his father used the box to rebuild him after the accident that almost cost him his life. So it's like the dude just had the mother box in his closet. It's like so
convenient.
It's like, okay, fine, I guess it looks.
This movie has too many plot conveniences, don't you think?
It feels like we're missing a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff was just removed and put together.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, should we get back to the fact that they want to plan on resurrecting Superman with the thing?
Oh yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Because okay, Henry Cavill was already confirmed to be coming back in this movie years in advance because he was showing up at comic panels with it.
Yep.
It's like they said they never denied that he was never coming back. They always planned on bringing him back.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you can't kill Superman permanently.
No,
I mean, you could, but
they do have at least one decent line before Silas Stone is taken away, and of course when he says to his son, "You are not a monster." Funny, you thought I was talking about me. It's like,
wow.
So okay, it was cringy and a little forced, but I do like it.
It's okay.
Yeah. So then, of course, revealing that his father used the box to bring him back to life, Batman decides to use the mother box to resurrect Superman, not only to help them fight off Steppenwolf's invasion, but also to restore hope in humanity.
Right. So your giant end-all plan to restore hope and faith in humanity is not only to resurrect a Kryptonian, no less. You're doing it by using a box.
Yeah, like literally a box, just pushing it really, really fast, and that's how it works. It's like, okay, I should probably mention the opening scene of the movie. It's one of the dumbest openings to any superhero movie I have ever seen. Yep. So basically, Superman dies, and all hope in humanity is lost. Like, humanity just gives up as soon as Superman dies.
I mean, we also remember in the opening, these kids recorded an interview with him and asked him about some stuff. That was fun.
We need to talk about how garbage that scene was.
I mean, it was kind of cool.
Like, this stupid little records Superman on his phone. Oh god, it's awful.
He asked him a couple questions.
So like the kid asked Superman questions. It's like, it's fine, but it's like,
I mean, I will admit, like the kid, I'm glad the kid asked Superman, does that symbol on your chest really stand for hope? Yes, it does.
And I did like that, but then they asked this of some dumb after that.
And one of the things is like, what's the best part about being on Earth? Well, and then Superman just looks away and we get to the credits. Credits.
The thing is, he never answers. What was the point of asking if he wasn't going to answer? It's
knows?
Maybe just keeping it ambiguous, I guess? Okay, I won't comment on it yet. We'll get to past the resurrection scene.
Oh,
so
right.
So mind you, like they'll show some scenes of people committing crimes and nobody stopping them because remember, Superman's gone. Humanity believes in no heroes. Remember how they almost condemned Superman for literally breathing in the last movie?
Yeah.
Like,
what?
The second this dude died, everybody felt immensely horrible.
A couple years have passed when you think about it.
It's like, oh no, our lives were actually better with him here. We should have appreciated him when he was here.
Hey, people are a fickle bunch, aren't we?
Especially in comic books.
Yes, that's very true.
So, okay. Another thing that I do want to bring up is the first scene of Diana. I know that we keep going back and stuff, but the recap really doesn't do a lot of the movie scenes justice.
Right.
There's a scene when Wonder Woman stops a terrorist attack. It's pretty good. Like, the
fight scene is great, and of course her music is playing, which is obviously an honest
fantastic. I feel like it moves too fast, though.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like not enough time is focused on that scene to really get the full feel of it. And it feels like it's been hastily put together towards the end too.
Like a hodgepodge?
Yeah,
I can see that.
But of course, let's now go to the fact that Barry and Victor dig up Superman's body in the middle of the night.
Because apparently their plan is to resurrect Superman via using the mother box by using the Kryptonian ship, putting Superman's body in that healing fluid stuff.
Exactly.
Whatever. put the mother box in, and then charge it with lightning to resurrect Superman.
Yep, and just charge it with lightning and have God sort it out.
Of course! Don't you know anything about science?
Exactly. So of course, they make a joke while they're digging up Superman's body.
Yeah.
It's like, it feels really out of place. Like, yo, fist bump, bro, you're digging up the greatest Superman body. It's like, seriously. And of course, they then place him in the fluid of the chamber in the Kryptonian ship with the mother box. And of course, they break into the Kryptonian ship rather easily. It's really weird.
A little too easily.
Yeah, it's
I get they have Batman on their side and Cyborg to mess with the mechanics of it all, but again, that's a little easy.
And of course, it feels like they're just rushing through the quirky dialogue here. It's like, funny thing, serious thing.
And then lightning charge, and then
Superman
comes back to life.
Yeah,
somehow
he comes back and goes to the wrecked monument that was there. Remember at the end?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because remember when that monument had such a big presence in the last movie?
Yeah, and I'm so glad that they got rid of the false god graffiti.
Yeah, they did. However, Superman's memories have not returned, and he basically has total amnesia. And of course,
and also, is it just me or did Superman look a little
hairy?
Well, okay, the hairy chest, sure, but like less in his face, more so in his face stuff.
I'll get to that in another segment.
But anyway,
folks. Grab the rails. It's about to get deep. So, I mean, if you had told me that Superman was a god, I would believe it, because the dude, he's gorgeous.
He's buff.
Henry Cavill is so fantastic.
He's one of the greatest looking male celebrities of today.
Yep, and of course we get a very much good callback to one of the first scenes of Man of Steel when Clark was adjusting to living on Earth. He's now basically having to readjust to breathing in the oxygen again, seeing the supervision go crazy, the noises blaring in his ears.
And it doesn't help that Cyborg's weapons go crazy. It's like,
And of course we've got more jokes with Aquaman saying, "That's because he's not okay." Oh, Pet Cemetery. It's like, God, no one ever mentioned Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, what the heck, dude?
Oh my God. So basically, the League tries to stop Superman after he goes volatile.
But he whoops them all.
Oh, he takes them all.
And even when Flash is running at light speed, Superman can see him. I'm like, holy crap!
I was even blown away because back in 2017, not even I knew the Superman was faster than the Flash.
Well, okay, back that up. Flash is totally faster. Superman, in terms of running speed, Superman's slower, but Superman can see at light speed, so he can see Flash.
I know. So, of course, Batman has to bring in his contingency plan because Superman is just starting to put a lot of people in danger.
Yeah, do you bleed callback notwithstanding.
So, basically, Superman immediately goes after Batman because all the horrible memories from the last movie come flooding in. And if I had to sit through that before going to this, I'd be just as mad as he was. Like, I could just see it in his eyes going through that movie and having to
and then he looks at
it
him like, "Do you bleed?"
And
really?
He says the same thing. He's like, 17-year-old me lost it.
Like, in a good way or a bad way?
Oh, he said the thing is back.
I was 17 years old and I was like, what the? Oh, sweet! Batman v Superman Run 2! And then Bruce called in the big gun.
Called in Lois to save the day.
And I'm thinking, oh, actually that works too.
It really does. It really does bring everything very nicely. So Lois comes in, calms him down. Clark drops Bruce to the ground and he's like, everything's broken.
Yeah, something is definitely bleeding. I'm like, why?
Why are you making jokes?
You're Batman! You don't do that! That died a long time ago!
See, it's like so crazy. It's like, I hate to keep harping on this. This movie is such a polarized tone compared to Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice.
Yes! I mean, it tries to be dark, but then the next minute, it's something fun and campy and ridiculous.
It feels like this whole movie is hodgepodge together of two people's very different versions of what the story should be. I swear to God. And then, of course, Superman calms down, leaves with Lois to go back to Smallville, and of course his memories start coming back. Superman spends most of the movie in a field holding his wife, right?
Well, not yet.
No. Girlfriend or fiance.
Yeah, right. Because there's a ring at the end of Dawn of Justice.
He spends the rest of the movie in flannel, looking out at a sunset in a cornfield.
Yeah, and the rest of the league is preparing to fight Steppenwolf.
Yeah, because with Superman gone, they're pretty much hosed.
And apparently, Oh yeah, we forgot to mention this. So Steppenwolf's base of operations is an old Russian village.
Yeah.
And there's actually some civilians in there.
Yeah,
and
so
we get to see some of their perspective on this whole
we
thing.
really do. So basically, the five travel to a village in Russia where Steppenwolf aims to reunite the three mother boxes again to remake Earth and, of course, prepare the planet for his lord, Darkseid. And
So, like, we've seen the Omega symbol, now we get a name drop of Darkseid. Great things are coming!
Yeah,
sort
it's
of.
great, right?
Yeah, and then the skies turn red. Wait,
Yeah.
is that supposed to happen?
It looks so bad.
No, we know in DC Comics when the skies turn red, it's a crisis. And
Yeah.
it is, but
To be fair, though, I didn't connect that till just right now, but in the trailer of the movie, the sky was blue with lightning, just like at the end of Dawn of Justice.
yeah,
And
it
it
makes you. To be fair, there was another trailer with the red skies, and I'm thinking,
Yeah,
what's going on here?
They probably changed the red skies very late into production.
Yeah,
It looks-
probably.
It looks so fake. And it's like,
Yeah, but it doesn't help with Aquaman. It doesn't help it. But despite that, the League still tried their best to fight back against the Parademons. With at one point Aquaman riding on top of the Batmobile, which was awesome.
Which was a little bit fun. I'll definitely give it that. Basically, they fight their way through the Parademons to reach Steppenwolf with some pretty cool stuff with Batman driving in the Batmobile.
Yeah, and Batman using a sound to attract the Parademons to him to distract him.
And of course, Cyborg flying through the sky with amazing special effects and whatnot.
Yeah, but then there was this whole thing where Cyborg grabs Aquaman as he's flying through the air, and he's like, "Not over yet,
My man!"
I was like, "Okay, that's awesome."
He's growing on me. He's
Yeah.
growing on me. So it's like he drops down through a school, and it's like comes out the end's like boom. It's like, okay, that's a point that I'll get to when we get through the rest of the MCU because there's so much of those freaking movies to get through.
Yes.
I hate superhero landings.
Why?
They are so cliched and boring. It's like they boom go. It's like, why can't you just fall like normal people?
Okay. Clearly, you haven't seen a lot.
No, I've seen a lot, but I've seen enough to know it's like, okay, there it is. Okay, before we get to the final battle, though, we need to go back to the rest of the team interactions because we have the first fight between the League and Steppenwolf before they resurrect Superman. And it's fine. Like, it's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, there's this one cool moment where Batman tells Flash to save some people. He's like, see, I'm not the best at saving people. The only thing I've really done is push some people and run away.
Yeah, and he says, save one person. And it's like...
And build off of that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And then I see Flash going fast. I'm like, okay, that's my Flash. There's my Flash.
It works fine enough. Ezra Miller is just quirky enough to get this stuff across. And Ben Affleck is trying to be serious, but... I don't see the serious Batman.
I can't
at all. Then, of course, after Superman leaves, they go back to the hub to find out where the mother boxes are, and it's all done in one scene. They immediately pinpoint where the boxes are. They know where to go. They have some, of course, it literally mirrors a scene from the first Avengers movie where the heroes fight for no reason just to build tension, and it's like Victor and Arthur are fighting a little bit. The defense system comes on. Everybody's quipping back and forth. And, of course, freaking Barry over here in a corner.
Is it bad to mention about my low blood sugar?
Shut the
Dude, shut up! We don't have time for that!
Oh, my God. And, of course, though, I hate it when there are good things in this movie because there's so much stuff I could yell at so much. Because, of course... There's a scene when Alfred mentions wind-up penguins. It's like, okay, you mentioned the penguin, you mentioned Batman's villains. Where are they?
I feel like that could be a big hand.
Yeah, you could be a really big thing in this, but we see no Batman villains other than Deadshot, Harley, and the Joker, and technically Killer Croc, I guess.
Yeah.
And of course, maybe like a tiny little name drop to either Scarecrow or Firefly in some of the backgrounds of these movies. But really, we need to see more Batman villains.
Well, and that time will come. Who knows?
Eventually. So... the team has been getting along just fine, but if you mind you, I know we haven't talked about the first Avengers movie. We'll be talking about all the stuff that's happened in this movie, just way better over there.
Yes.
Because it was done so much
Yes.
better in that 5 years earlier than this. Because it's all stuff the superhero community has seen before. It's all stuff that Joss Whedon has done before.
Yeah. And, of course, when they're flying to confront Steppenwolf, there's this whole thing where Aquaman laments a lot, and it turns out that he had the lasso of truth around him, and I'm like, really?
It's like,
really?
I know I laughed myself silly.
I did laugh on first viewing, I'll give you that, but
Because, okay, I had to draw the line at when frickin' Arthur looked at Diana and said, "You're gorgeous."
I'm like, okay,
that was clearly
much.
something that wasn't supposed to be
I'm like,
there.
something's off.
Especially, okay, I'll save another scene. I'll put it in the thumbnail for later when we get to past the summary part, because we've already talked about the summary a lot, and it's only a 2-hour movie.
I know.
So, okay, they fight their way to Steppenwolf, but they're unable to distract him long enough for Cyborg to separate the mother boxes. All seems lost when, oh no, something crazy is going to fall from the sky and save the day. And guess who it is?
Superman?
I'm also a big fan of Justice.
And I'm like, okay. But to be fair though, we get Superman. Big Superman, he's strong. He throws a big punch. He gets Steppenwolf injured. He blasts him with heat vision. I'm like, yes, this is awesome.
He's finally Superman. I'm so happy for Henry Cavill finally being the actual Superman.
But then there's this exchange with Batman that kind of ruins it. It's like, I hope you didn't bring me back because you like me. I don't not like you. I'm like, what?
Damn it, man.
Dude, come on, Batman.
It's clearly freaking edited in there. Like, there's so many scenes in this movie that were clearly thrown in there seemingly at the last minute.
Yeah, and then there's this whole thing where Superman and Flash one up each other on saving civilians. Flash is pushing a truck while Superman carries a freaking building of civilians. And I'm like, what the heck is going on?
I now see so many years later why so many people compare this movie to a teenage version of the animated Justice League shows from the early 2000s that we will eventually cover on this podcast. But it really feels like that these quirky moments of Flash saving one of the Russian families from the earlier scenes, trying to establish that, yes, superhero shenanigans are going on and people's lives are in danger, and of course he does a cute little exchange with the little
it was cute.
Russian
Dostoevsky. I'm like, that's
and of course, blue running lightning. Like, do you like the blue lightning?
I'm indifferent to it because remember, this is a different version of the Flash, so of course the lightning's going to be different. But I'm eventually glad that the yellow lightning is coming, so I'm just going to work for that.
Superman basically swoops in and saves the entire team. Like,
well, he's the big gun. What do you expect?
Yeah, but it should be a team effort. Superman does all the work.
Yeah, and he helps Cyborg separate the mother boxes.
Yeah, he does that. The team defeats Steppenwolf at long last. Like, don't they break his axe or something?
They do, and apparently the parademons notice his fear and...
Yes, okay, the dude was never afraid. Not once. And then suddenly he's like, oh no, they broke my weapon. I'm so scared. Please don't hurt me.
Well, too bad.
And then all the parademons turn on him and suck him back to Apocalypse or whatever. And
I'm like, what?
And once again, the day is saved because the vines turn into beautiful plants that turn Russia into a beautiful paradise. That scene in Russia has not aged very much.
No, especially because some of the VFX don't look that great.
No, it almost seems like when the team is posing on top of the silo that used to be Steppenwolf's main base, it almost looks like they're supposed to be looking at something completely different. But no, they're looking at a plant that's grown out the ground, and it's a nice group shot.
Yes,
they got Barry and Victor finally doing the fist.
That was nice.
It's like
character arc-ish.
Yay, make a happy ending. And of course,
thanks, Gumball.
After the battle, Bruce and Diana agree to set up a base of operations for the team with room for more members.
Justice League expansion. I can work with that.
Yep. The team establishes and prepare to make the Hall of Justice out of the old, burnt-out Wayne Manor. So it's like, okay, so Bruce is turning the place where Dick supposedly died as Robin into the new base of operations for the new Justice League. So it's like out of the ashes of the mistakes he previously made, he's doing good in the world once again.
All right.
Wonder Woman steps back into the public spotlight and becomes the hero she said she would never be again. And of course, yay, she's getting autographs and camera flashes and stuff.
Well, I mean, come on, we're living in a modern day. And of course, Superman's back in the public eye, and he does
no, not yet. Barry does a job working at the Central City Police Department, impressing his dad, hoping to officially solve the murder case. So hopefully that'll be touched upon in a much future story.
Yep.
Victor continues to enhance his robotic abilities, and his father, who had a very strained relationship with him, seems like they're gonna be A-okay. They got their arms around each other and smiling at the camera.
That's a little bit of a jargon.
It really is, especially since I like it because I don't want Victor to... It feels weird because I love it when Victor never forgives his father.
Because, well, I mean, a father that's a workaholic, that's relatable.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know.
And then of course, at the end, Superman Clark pulls off his jacket and reveals the Superman t-shirt in classic fashion and flies off into the sky, ending the movie.
I know. So it's like, boom, and then, yay, credits time.
And, of course, we got post-credit scenes. The first one... It's just a nice little homage to one of the old comics or a Superman and Flash race. And it was kind of fun.
Yeah, so...
They had to mention brunch again!
Yep. So basically, they have that thing. So they have the characters racing at the end of the movie.
Which was clever.
It's cute. I think it's funny. Ezra and Henry are clearly having a good time with it. Yeah. But then, of course, we have another post-credit scene after that.
Which, on first viewing, made us lose our minds.
I know. We were two innocent 17-year-old boys watching Lex Luthor break out of Arkham Asylum that Bruce put him in at the end of Dawn of Justice. He's on his yacht, fully bald in the suit, looks like actual Lex Luthor.
I'm like, that's better.
Yeah.
And then he's approached by
Slade Wilson,
a.k.a. Deathstroke, played amazingly, even though it's just a cameo, by Joe Manganiello.
The dude kills it.
The costume looks accurate. The eye patch is nice. And then Lex ends it with this. Shouldn't we have a league of our own? And I'm thinking, the Justice League, yes!
And
wait a minute.
This movie really sucked.
Wait, Mike, actually, now I realized something. I think you're reading the wrong script here. Give me that. Listen to that. Dude,
what?
I totally forgot that we've got the wrong Justice League movie here.
Oh,
because it turns out this movie turned out to be Warner Brothers corporate meddling again.
Yeah, see, okay, I like to call this corporate meddling the movie, folks. So we did kind of mislead you. Kind of funny because April Fool's Day is tomorrow.
Yeah, actually. So it fits. Surprise!
A little bit of surprise there. So a little bit of story time from Chris and Mike a bit. But of course, before we get into that, I would like to do a little bit of summarizing of the achievements of this movie. This film was arguably one of the most expensive superhero films to ever be conceived. $300 million budget.
You don't see a Marvel movie with that kind of cash.
No, and it turns out it's even more than that. This movie only made $658 million at the box office.
It barely made double.
Turning out, just barely double its money back. Which, of course, DC wanted a movie in the billions, like the Avengers movies, and it just didn't do that.
Nope.
Oh my goodness. Barely breaking even at $658 million indeed, my friends. Basically, they've been trying to get a Justice League movie off the ground for so many years before finally trying to do so with Zack Snyder going into the DC Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, just the thing is, during production, there was a little bit of a problem.
So, okay, we were very much devastated, me and Chris, to the build-up of this film originally. When all was said and good, all things seemed to be rolling in deep with everybody going forward. And unfortunately, Zack Snyder had to step away from the production of Justice League during post-production because his daughter unfortunately took her life via suicide.
It's horrible.
And even back in the day, I was very distraught at this news, but not as distraught as I would be now because suicide is such a very serious issue, and we should never take light of it at all.
Yeah, and sadly, with the increase of the pandemic and some social distancing rules and what's going on in the world, suicide rates are a little up in the world, a little up.
Indeed. So my heart goes out to Mr. Snyder.
Same here.
So very much.
So for Zack stepping away, Warner Brothers decided to pull their puppet strings and hire Joss Whedon to finish the product. They thought, hey, maybe we got a good thing on our hands. He worked on the first two Avengers movies, so I think we're in good hands here.
Yep, so...
Oh, dear God, what did we get ourselves into?
So, okay, Warner Brothers reached out to Joss Whedon to finish the film's production because Zack Snyder simply couldn't with all that was going on with his family at the time. Whedon was hired to oversee the remainder of post-production, including writing and directing additional scenes, which, of course, that's why we were harping on all that stuff with the jokey jokes. All that stuff was inserted back into the movie. Basically, Whedon reshot 90% of the film.
Yep, and Warner Brothers wanted to make it down to 2 hours.
Yep, 2 hours because, of course, Snyder wanted a film as long as 4 hours long. Warner Brothers only said yes so that he would make the movie. They always planned throwing him out anyway. But of course, his daughter's suicide just happened to be a happy little coincidence.
And that's just not right!
The perfect excuse to throw a perfectly excellent director out on his ass for trying to make good superhero art.
And what did we get?
Oh, we got one of the biggest pieces of cinematic hot garbage I have ever seen.
A cinematic disaster, that's what it is.
This movie is tone deaf. Let me tell you.
And not to mention the fact, you know when we mentioned that little joke that the Amazon's revealing it? Yeah, Joss Whedon has some issues.
Okay, yeah, but before we get into that, we have the movie was not only a massive box office bomb, but received mixed reviews overall. Well, the theatrical version, anyway, my friends. Yep. Many did praise the action scenes and the performances of the cast, but criticized the plot, the pacing, and especially the CGI. Which, of course, for being $300 million flushed down the world's biggest.
Yeah, because some of that budget went to reshoots because
most of it did. A lot of that money went to reshooting scenes that Whedon said, would make the movie better. Just
yeah, because there's a few scenes where Superman looks a little weird.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the time of the reshoots, Henry Cavill was filming the 6th Mission Impossible movie where he was the main villain. He was contractually obligated to have a mustache. And of course, we can't have a Superman with a mustache, so what do? They digitally shave it, and it makes his face look weird.
Yeah, in every scene. Oh, another fun fact, my friends. Most of the scenes in the theatrical cut of Justice League that has Henry Cavill in it has more or less been reshot.
Yep.
Especially so because you can tell, especially once we get into the actual script, which is right here. We won't harp too much on it because we already went through the bare bones of it. But yes, most of the stuff with Henry Cavill was reshot, especially stuff like Do You Bleed? I'm a big fan of Justice. The phone scene with the kids at the beginning. It's all stuff that was done after the filming had initially stopped.
Yep.
Basically, Whedon's direction was heavily criticized, and the film's tone was met with a polarizing response, with some appreciating the brighter tone, sure, but others finding it inconsistent and unnatural to where the cinematic universe should be. I'm very much in the latter, my friend.
Yep, same here.
So what did this film win any awards? Probably.
I doubt it.
Let me check though, because it was nominated for a bunch of things, my friends. The film was nominated. Well, Ezra Miller was nominated for Best Comedic Performance. Gal Gadot was nominated for Breakthrough Artist at the Detroit Film Society.
Okay.
Ben Affleck was nominated at the Kids' Choice Awards, and so was Gal Gadot for this movie.
Okay, that's not bad.
Let's see. The film was nominated for Choice Action Movie at the Teen Choice Awards. Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, and Gal Gadot also got Teen Choice Award nominations.
Okay.
But then, of course, there's the super funny nominations. And the one film award this movie did win. Let me tell you this. So this movie got second place at the Oklahoma Film Critics Circle Awards for most disappointing film of 2017. Won second place.
What won first place?
I don't know. But it just says
we're never going to know then.
No, but okay, here's definitely my favorite one. The movie won biggest disappointment of the year at the 2017 Golden Schmoes Awards. That was so bad. It was really crazy.
So people were so outraged. Then came the raging trend, #release the Snyder Cut.
Really?
Yep. And where did that lead? Well, in 2020, when everything shut down because of the pandemic, Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill hosted a special Zoom screening of Man of Steel where they talked about it, watched the movie with fans. But then, Zack gave everyone this little stinger. He flipped his camera around and it said this: Zack Snyder's Justice League coming to HBO Max in 2021.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it thinking, oh my god, it does exist! And so what we got here was a 4-hour epic. That's the actual movie.
Exactly.
You want to talk about that?
We should definitely do that. But before I do, we should definitely call to attention some of the stuff that happened behind the scenes of the theatrical before we praise the actual movie.
You're right.
So basically, the post-production of Justice League following Zack Snyder's departure and Joss Whedon's hiring has been called one of the most controversial examples of Hollywood disaster I have ever seen in
you
my
could say
entire
that.
life. Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins particularly disliked Justice League because the film itself seemed to contradict her movie, as both she and Zack Snyder worked heavily together to keep continuity between their movies. In details like they changed Wonder Woman's costume to a brighter color and a slightly more high skirt, but Joss Whedon reshot the film to point the characters while not being portrayed as shown in previous films.
Oh.
And of course, Chris Terrio, the man who wrote Justice League and Batman vs. Superman, called the film that Warner Brothers put out in theaters an act of cinematic vandalism. And of course, attempted unsuccessfully to get his name removed from the movie because of just how bad it is. In fact, okay, biggest examples right here. Joss Whedon is one of the worst human beings I have ever had the unprivilege of knowing his name in my brain.
Same here.
I appreciated his work on stuff such as Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Firefly very much in high school, when I was starting to appreciate what storytelling could do for people's lives. But of course, hearing so many people come forward since the release of this film, the disaster that was happening behind the scenes could not be contained for very long, and it all started with Ray Fisher, Cyborg's actor, coming to terms with saying that the amount of misogyny and racism that was seen behind those scenes to the actors, everybody, was unprecedented. They removed nearly 90% of Ray Fisher's storyline from the original 4-hour movie because they felt that it would be unusable and unnecessary. He was the heart of the movie, someone who was very specifically meant to be there for that specific reason, and they deemed not only his story, but all of the people of color's stories unnecessary and pushed all the damn white people to the front of the line again. And I absolutely stand with Ray Fisher.
Me too.
Forever, my friends. Him releasing those details and getting the wave to start against Mr. Whedon has gotten him blacklisted from Hollywood. Let me tell you, he deserves the world. Ray Fisher's performance in the actual movie, which we will talk about once we get through this little PSA segment, is remarkable.
Yes.
But the fact is, though, he was in no major motion pictures in any major role before this was astounding.
Yeah.
The fact is, he was this good and perfect. Absolutely. And of course, we had the infamous treatment of how Joss Whedon treated poor Gal Gadot on the set of this movie.
Yeah, he basically threatened her career.
Yes, he did. Basically rewriting a bunch of Wonder Woman scenes to make her overly sexualized to attract the male audience. The very same thing he did with Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow in the future Avengers movies, trying to make her appeal more to the males who are clearly watching these movies. And of course, I used to joke about that shit when I was a teenager because I was very immature. I didn't really appreciate the amount of work that goes into a major motion picture.
Now, we are men.
Yes.
We recognize a lot.
They basically rewrote it so, especially one scene that she absolutely downright flat out refused to do.
Yep.
The scene of Barry Allen tripping during the water tunnel scene, falling into Gal Gadot's cleavage and getting back up, brushing himself off and getting back into the fight.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Yes. So basically, Gal Gadot outright refused to do it. Joss Whedon pushed her against the wall, threatened to blacklist her from the industry too if she didn't get that man's nose in between her, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And of course, they couldn't get her to do it, so that scene was filmed with a body double. And it's like, I couldn't tell for so many years, and I felt so dirty enjoying any part of this movie.
But to be fair though, I kind of got a glimpse of it ahead of time. I'm thinking to myself, when I remember watching it on first view and I saw the scene, I'm like, okay, that was a little weird. I'm surprised they allowed this. But then I remember hearing it recently and I'm thinking, yep, I knew there was something weird about it.
Yep, absolutely, my friend. And of course, after all that, let's look exactly what Gal Gadot had to say. Called it a curse. And this movie is a curse on cinema, on Hollywood, but it's finally coming back to haunt them. What Joss Whedon and the other executives did, such as Walter Hamada, Jeff Johns, all these people thought that they could get away and hide the injustice and the unrest that was happening. But you cannot silence millions of voices. We determine what gets done in this industry, not you. We pay for the garbage you think you can shovel in our faces and we'll just come back for more. Well, the public is getting wise to you, Hollywood. One day, you will hopefully see the error of your ways, because sooner or later, the movie theaters will be empty. Our homes will become our safe haven for films. Our televisions will be our movie screens, and our remotes will be our projectors. Eventually, the truth will be heard by all those who have been silenced. And men like Zack Snyder, Ben Affleck, and Henry Cavill, and especially Ray Fisher, will be leading the way.
Heck yeah! Well said!
Indeed. And with all that said...
So, shall we cover what is essentially called Zack Snyder's magnum opus?
And I would definitely
We'll
say
get there, but
probably.
let's get into the real Justice League movie. Sit, get comfortable, because this is 4 hours long. It's a doozy.
Indeed. So let's dig into 2021's Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, the actual plot begins like this.
It basically picks up where Dawn of Justice left off with Superman dying to Doomsday.
Yep. 5,000 years ago, Darkseid, and yes, we actually see Darkseid.
And he looks awesome.
In this movie, played by the excellent Ray Porter,
Yep.
is shown front and center in this movie. He looks truly excellent,
Yep.
my friends. Him and his parademon army attempt to conquer Earth using the 3 mother boxes. They're foiled by a coalition of the old gods, the Amazons, Atlanteans, humans, and a Green Lantern of all people.
Amazing.
Now, of course, the Green Lantern was seen in the theatrical version, but it was only for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
This movie, the Green Lantern is seen front and center, and I'm thinking, yes, absolutely yes. And of course, leaving the mother boxes behind on Earth, which are hidden separately after Darkseid is forced to flee. In the present, the death of Superman triggers the box's reactivation. Not entirely sure how that works.
Because apparently, I know this, because apparently Superman's scream is heard around the world, and that sets off the mother boxes thinking, Earth just lost their big gun. We can attack now.
Oh my goodness. So basically, after hearing all that, it also attracts Steppenwolf back to Earth, finally locating the planet once more. Darkseid's disgraced lieutenant. They actually clarify what his rank is. After all, it's like, okay, so he's a lieutenant of Darkseid. Excellent. Steppenwolf aims to regain Darkseid's favor by gathering the boxes to form the Unity, which would terraform Earth into a copy of Apocalypse. Bruce Wayne gets a warning from Lex Luthor about the importance of bringing the Justice League together. He then begins to recruit a group of metahumans. Aquaman refuses. Meanwhile, the Steppenwolf attacks the Amazons on Themyscira and takes the mother box guarded by them. And I love the Amazons never giving in to fear, not being scared by Steppenwolf's original design.
Yeah, because Steppenwolf looks intimidating this time around. Like, where was this version? He's huge. His horns are like actually melted into his head. It's not a helmet. And his body armor is adaptive spikes that can lash out like a porcupine. And I'm thinking, yes! This was epic to watch.
He was covered in spikes and nails and like...
Yeah. He was mowing down the Amazons left and right. I think at one point he decapitated one of them.
He does.
Yeah, so we should mention this movie is R-rated, so for violence and gore and language, so be warned.
Compared to the PG-13 theatrical release, Steppenwolf is decapitating the Amazons left and right. The carnage he ensues immediately won me over on this.
I'm like, yes!
We were only 30 minutes into this movie and already it was better than the theatrical version by a long shot, my friends. So, get that. On Earth, Diana rescues students from a bank robbery from common street criminals that basically want to blow up half of London.
They were kind of like modern, backwards thinking terrorists. They're like the guy called it an alternative terrorist group. I'm thinking, what?
Really?
That's what I heard. But then, of course, we see Diana's fight, and the fight is expanded longer than the theatrical cut, and good lord, was it awesome to watch.
I remember, because we made a whole event out of this. Like, when we saw it for ourselves in our dorm room last year, my friends, it blew us away. It's like...
The music was playing, she was going fast, blocking bullets, he was shooting fast. I'm like, yes! I wish this was in a theater!
It was so great. And, of course, amazingness from her all around, getting the bomb out, saving the students, and having an excellent heart-to-heart with one of the young girls, saying that she wanted to grow up to be like Wonder Woman someday. She can be whatever she wants to be when she grows up.
Now that is amazing.
I didn't need to be won over on Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Me neither.
Dawn of Justice did that years ago.
Yep, but this just solidified it big time.
Definitely. Okay, so she then gets the warning from the Amazons because they launched an arrow like thousands of miles away.
Well, they're descendants of the Olympic gods, so they can do pretty much anything.
So, okay, the movie is not perfect. It does still have some dumb moments.
Despite how much we love it, it has its moments of, what?
Yeah, so she does get that. Like she then learns about Darkseid's assault on Earth and Steppenwolf from some hieroglyphics, I believe.
Yeah, and because she found this temple where, might I add, she jumps down to part of the temple in high heels, no less. I'm thinking, jeez, she's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we see the hieroglyphics, the mother boxes, Darkseid, the new gods, Apocalypse. Basically, we get a giant info dump of Apocalypse in just one single image.
Indeed, we do. It's so fantastic.
I'm like, whoa.
Oh my god. So then,
we're in trouble.
Diana and Bruce now seek to form a team of metahumans to protect Earth. Having previously failed to get Aquaman, Bruce then locates Barry Allen. So you see, he doesn't go right to Aquaman, then to Barry. He goes to Arthur first, fails, and then temporarily gives up. But then he keeps going.
Yeah, because it's mainly of Diana. And not to mention the fact that most of the stuff from the theatrical cut with Flash is kept in, except no brunch scene, thank God.
Oh my god, I can't even tell you how happy we were to not see that scene.
I was expecting, and I thought, wait a minute, Zack Snyder clearly said, I'll take every inch of the theatrical version and burn it in a fire, and thinking, yep, he's not going to use any of it. But we were shocked to find how much of the theatrical version was in this, because there was some humor we did not expect.
No, because believe it or not, the second favorite chair line was actually a Snyder line.
Who would have thought?
I never would have guessed that, honestly.
Yeah. But moving on.
And of course, Barry still agrees to come. Victor still says no to Diana.
Yeah, but the way he does it, though, it's like something ripped out of the Matrix. Like, he hacks the back computer and tells Diana to meet him on a street corner. I'm thinking, yikes.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But I do love a lot of Ray Fisher stuff that was thrown away.
Yeah, Cyborg's like the heart of this movie.
Yeah, I know. I'm amazed at how anybody could think that this stuff was unnecessary. I mean, I know it's very tedious and it goes on maybe a little bit too long, but that's the thing about me. Even if something has no reason to exist, I still want to watch it.
Me too!
Because I love looking at it.
Yeah, because you can tell, again, we said this about Zack Snyder, he does a lot of visual, and he had our eyes.
Yeah.
Because good lord.
Because Cyborg uses his powers to basically make a broke woman with a child filthy rich.
He can do that!
And I absolutely loved that.
Yeah, and when I saw that scene, I'm thinking to myself, Snyder made him a walking supercomputer. This is amazing.
I know, it was great. And then of course, Barry joins, which is of course very nice when they have that scene once again with Barry looking up at the bat signal.
Yeah, that's a Snyder thing.
Which I thought never would have guessed that ever.
Yeah.
And of course, I do love this because so Silas is still kidnapped by the parademons, trying to be kidnapped because they actually give a damn explanation about why Steppenwolf kidnapped them in the first movie that was cut out. They actually clarify because he's kidnapping people that work at Star Labs because they have the scent of the box on them.
Exactly, and the parademons can sniff that out. No more needing of sniffing out all that fear crap.
Yeah, which was dumb as
But they got Silas Stone, but they leave alone his lab assistant, Ryan Choi.
Yeah.
DC Comics fans will know him as the second person to take on the role of the Atom.
Which I love that. I love the Atom so much. I love shrinking things. I love absolutely.
Who doesn't?
love shrinking
But yeah,
things.
so the parademons kidnap any Star Labs employees that have the scent of the mother box on them. I still think that's stupid.
It's
It's better. Hey, as long as it's better than the parademons sniffing out fear, that's good enough for me.
Yep, Victor does come in and join them on the rooftop to try and track down the employees.
And of course, they're talking to Commissioner Gordon, who's played by J.K. Simmons, and he does an awesome job.
He still does it. The dude is killer in anything superhero related.
Yeah, and apparently this scene, where Gordon turns around, they're gone, except for Flash, and he's like, oh wow, they just disappeared right here. I'm like, that's a Snyder line? I didn't think so.
I never believed it. And of course, Ray Fisher himself said that the scene on the rooftop, where all the heroes were assembling, was the only scene of his that we didn't edit for the theatrical version. It was the only one that they didn't tamper with.
That's crazy.
They left him one just so they can say we didn't edit everything.
Yeah,
no,
there's your token black character in the movie. Deal with
that's exactly what he was.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And I'm so ashamed for letting.
But thankfully, we've got a better version. And now we get to the tunnels.
Yep, Steppenwolf kidnaps and slaughters Atlantean guards watching over their mother box and takes it with only a reluctant Aquaman and Mira, played by Amber Heard.
We'll get there.
Yeah, so basically, we forgot to mention Amber Heard in the other movie, and it's like, she was so small, we kind of forgot.
Yes, but she has a more prominent role. We also see a future character, Volko, a guardian of Aquaman, played by Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
and Willem does an awesome job.
Willem Dafoe was cut out of the theatrical cut because they figured, he's going to be in Aquaman, the movie anyway, who cares?
But everyone loved him in Aquaman, and then we found out that he's here. I'm like, yes!
Yeah, we get to see more scenes of him.
Alright, so we get to the tunnels, and the scene plays out like the normal film, except there's this one throwaway line where Batman is able to block the heated vision of the parademons with his gauntlets, and Alfred's like, my gauntlet idea works! I'm like, yes!
Oh my god.
But the scene plays out normal. They're fighting off against the parademons. Thankfully, no weird thing between Barry and Diana, thank God. And it just turned out to be an awesome fight scene, although I just think there's a lot of slow motion.
There's a lot of Snyder slow motion.
But, I mean, it's kind of cool to watch, especially with Flash, because, he's the fastest man alive. So eventually they shoot a missile at Steppenwolf. He fires back. He doesn't say primitive beings, because that's so stupid.
Oh, God, I hated that line.
But thankfully that didn't happen.
No.
The water comes in, floods the tunnel, and Aquaman shows up riding the wave and slamming it with his trident. I was like, yes!
It was so sick, let me tell you. Trapping them until Aquaman manages to save them.
And not to mention Flash going fast to save everybody from the collapsing roof and to get everyone out of the building.
It was so much better than the theatrical one. My God, it was so great.
Yes.
Cyborg retrieves the last mother box, which he had hidden away for safekeeping. He then reveals that it was used to rebuild his body after the car crash that not only almost killed him, but took his mother's life as well.
Yeah, and we actually see a flashback of that.
Yeah, we see a flashback of him winning a football game for, what was it, the Gotham Knights?
Yep, Gotham City University.
That's so silly. I love the Gotham Knights thing.
Yeah.
But of course, his father wasn't there because Silas Stone is like the poster child of neglectful fathers.
Yeah, sorry to say. So, what else? So, actually, this version of the movie, it talks about how the humans found the mother box. Because apparently, even though it was buried centuries ago, the Nazis dug it up during World War II because, of course, Nazis.
Exactly.
And thought they could use it as an otherworldly power. But eventually, Cyborg pretty much gave us an explanation of the mother box and how the mother boxes can create and uncreate things.
Really?
Which is a whole weird thing, but then everyone gets the same idea of using the mother box to resurrect Superman. And I'm thinking to myself, well, actually, this makes a lot more sense than the theatrical movie because they just jump right in. They think about this for a second and learn more about the box.
Yeah, we actually get the exposition that's necessary rather than them just knowing.
We know people hate exposition, but sometimes you gotta have it to get a good story.
Yep.
This is a good example.
The group realizes that they can bring Superman back to life with the power of the box, showing a very nice hologram of him waving the red cape at the charging bull.
Him taking off into flight, and Bruce looks at him and is like, we gotta do this.
We got to, because you could just see the guilt on his eyes of what the did I do? It's like he's had to live with this mistake for 2 years.
I know, I'm sure at one point when he was looking at the hologram of Superman, he flashed back to when he fought. I was like, why did I do that? Why did I fight that man?
It shows that I know everybody's going to be hating on Dawn of Justice for forever. And
yeah, because even though it's crucial to the story, the movie doesn't really hold up.
No, but it's like the message is still there. It's very muddled and should have been handled much better, but the message was still there. Heroes need to fail. We cannot always see heroes succeed because that's just not realistic.
Exactly.
We need to show them fall so they can rise again, and that's what the end of Dawn of Justice. Dawn of Justice is Bruce Wayne's ultimate failure.
Pretty much,
I definitely think that, and this film is him redeeming himself and becoming the man that he used to be.
A better Batman.
Yes, out of the ashes of his surrogate son's death, my friends. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so then, of course, they do the normal thing where they infiltrate the Kryptonian ship. But this time, Victor's dad helps them get in.
Yeah, but of course...
it's a little weird, but, you know.
They know that Steppenwolf will immediately track down the box once they use it to bring back Superman. Hopefully they'll have enough time to get him out before he gets here. Steppenwolf receives a vision of the anti-life equation, a secret power sought by Darkseid to control all of existence, and he informs his master of this, saying that the anti-life equation is found on Earth.
And there's a point where Darkseid and Steppenwolf talk, and Darkseid's face is melded into the stone where Steppenwolf put the mother boxes in. it kind of reminded me a lot of the hologram communication stuff from Man of Steel, because that's what they were going on here, and I'm like, this is awesome.
I know, right?
And yeah, so the anti-life equation on Earth, so that's bad.
Yeah, so basically, now that Darkseid knows about this, Steppenwolf is actually no, I'm pretty sure I can tell that later in this. So they do get Clark's body out of there and place it into the fluid inside the ship.
But this time, during the whole box movie sequence, Cyborg has a vision of a nightmarish future.
Yeah,
where Diana is killed, Atlantis is taken over,
Aquaman is killed,
Batman is dead, and Superman is consoled by Darkseid.
Yeah, the Superman is shown to be Darkseid's pawn, just like in the nightmare sequence from Dawn of Justice, showing not only a dead Kilowog, a bunch of League artifacts strung throughout everywhere. It's absolutely nuts. And before Victor can stop Barry, he's already running to activate the box, which knocks Superman awake, but good. And of course, Silas Stone is still around, helping the heroes get to where they need to be.
Yeah. Oh, actually, while that's going on, Lois is depressed that Clark is gone. There's a whole subplot with that where she visits the memorial every day. But then she's consoled by Martha Kent and telling her to come back to the land of the living.
See, we need to talk about that stuff. So the biggest implications of the lighter tone forced upon the mishmashed theater version of Justice League is shown with Amy Adams and the Martha Kent scenes. There's so much color in those scenes, it's almost...
It hurts my eyes.
It really does, let me tell you that much. Basically, some weird jokey jokes in there too, like, haha, your son died and I loved him. But
and then there's a whole, and then there's a whole exchange with Lois and a reporter, and the reporter's like, oh, so she's a she. I'm like, oh god.
Shut up.
Yeah, but look, with this extended cut, Martha basically tells Lois to get back out there, and Clark would want her to be out there, where it turns out this isn't actually Martha Kent.
Oh, wait, we can't reveal who that is just yet. We gotta wait till the next paragraph's over. So basically, Barry activates the box, Clark wakes up, just like in the theatrical version, attacks the group when Victor's armor goes into self-defense mode.
And thankfully, this fight is a lot better, because, one, no mustache. And two, it shows you that Superman really kicks ass.
It really does. It's spaced out just enough to get, and weirdly enough, Warner Brothers tried to push out this image of, oh, Zack Snyder can't do humor. Joss Whedon is the best at humor. Yuck, yuck, yuck. It's
the Flash scenes, they've been funny.
Yeah, this fight between the League and Superman to get him under control, one of the funniest scenes in the movie. When, of course, Flash is running, Superman dodges out of his way, knocks Aquaman on his ass, and it has Aquaman looking like, I'm gonna rip your fucking head off.
Yeah, and he hurts Diana. Like, he headbutts her into the ground. I'm thinking, wow! I knew Superman was powerful, but jeez!
It's absolutely excellent, my friends. And of course, before he can kill Batman for the shit he did in the last movie.
Yeah, but thankfully, thank God. And thankfully, but he also, Batman's gauntlets protect him from Superman's heat vision, which, as far as we know, can get as hot as the sun.
Which is crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, but thankfully, Lois sees everything.
See, Lois arrives. She's not Bruce's contingency plan. She just happens to be wandering around the city in coffee shops.
Yeah.
Which, of course, she just happens to come on, shakes the hand of old Jimmy Olsen, police officer guy, and he's like, yeah, because I'll get back to that in the cameo section. Basically, Lois arrives, calms Clark down, and they fly to the family home in Smallville, where he regains his memories and, of course, reconnects with his mother, and it's also very nice.
Yeah.
There's also a mini subplot of the Kent farm being foreclosed because, that's something that a lot of old women do in like comic book movies. Their houses are foreclosed.
I guess.
And, of course, Steppenwolf gets the last mother box but from Silas Stone, who tries to destroy the box, and Steppenwolf all the while. Cyborg is torn because Silas Stone sacrifices himself trying to destroy the box so Steppenwolf can't destroy the planet.
Or actually, the real explanation is that he tried to hit the box with a concentrated laser blast so they could put a little trace on it. So he basically helped his son he let Steppenwolf get the box so that they could find it. But yeah, Silas Stone is disintegrated in probably the most visually stunning looking death scene I've ever seen in a comic book movie. I was screaming and I was like, oh my god!
It only made me realize just how fake the final scene of Victor and his father in the theatrical movie really was. Retconning his father's death from the original story.
I know.
And it's like, I much prefer this.
Me too.
I don't want to see Silas Stone in any of these future films because in my mind he had the best death.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Because, mind you, that was ripped right out of the comics. Silas Stone died in the pre-Crisis era. I'm just thinking... Which I'm thinking is like, okay, yeah, his death would give Cyborg more instance to try and do what's right, aside from just do it because his father said so.
Yeah, so then Steppenwolf grabs the third box, heads to that old Russian village. Thankfully, no villagers this time around, surprisingly.
Yeah,
and again, no Superman. So the League is a little bit squandered, but there is a little interesting continuity-wise, because Bruce and Diana have a conversation where Bruce mentions the nightmare sequence from Dawn of Justice and how he sees a future Barry Allen talking to him that Lois is the key.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking to myself, continuity, it works!
It does, but we don't learn anything else after that. We don't learn much, though, and there's a reason for that. We'll get to it later.
Yeah.
So, without Clark, the 5 heroes still decide to go to the abandoned Russian city where basically Steppenwolf aims to reunite the Unity. They fight their way through the parademons while of course, doing a bunch of the stuff that's still recycled from the theatrical version.
Yeah, but thankfully, much better looking skies.
Yeah, definitely.
And honestly, the fight scene is much better because it's amazing to watch.
It definitely is much easier on the eyes.
Yes,
let me tell you
totally.
that. And of course, we still keep the "my man."
Yeah, thank God. I was honestly one of the good ones. I did not know that was a theatrical one.
And of course, the slow-mo shot with the guys with the Batmobile and jumping in front of the parademons. Yeah,
and actually, there's the whole scene where there's one slow-mo shot, kind of referencing Age of Ultron in a way, where the Justice League just jumps in about all slow-mo, and I'm like, yes, this is awesome to watch.
Exactly, this is art. I don't care what anybody says, love or hate Zack Snyder. I want this in my home.
You want a picture of that? Me too. That was awesome to watch.
I would hecka do that, my friends.
So they get past the parademons, and Batman Flash just tries to distract this, sniper parademon.
Yeah.
And he's running fast, and we get to see Flash's speed all along. I'm like, this is amazing!
Yep, and of course, they get to where they need to go. Okay, so just to be like a quick little verifying, Steppenwolf wants to get back into Darkseid's good graces after betraying him millennia ago and needs to conquer a certain amount of planets to do so, even though he's hella old. And of course, we see Darkseid, Desaad, and Granny Goodness
through a boom tube,
which is so freaking excellent.
Yes!
Looking down at him, Steppenwolf knows he'll never get back into Darkseid's good graces, but he's going to die trying.
Yeah.
He's going to create the Unity or bust.
Yeah, so the League does the thing, and then, of course, like the theatrical movie, Cyborg has to separate the boxes, but in doing so, there's another vision of the nightmare future where the Unity happens.
Exactly, and that's exactly what goes wrong. So, just like in the theatrical version, epicness ensues. Just like with the death of Superman storyline from the early 90s, Superman is brought back en masse in a glorious black costume.
Now, the explanation for this is that apparently the black costume makes him absorb the sunlight easier, but...
Yeah.
And actually, before he goes to help the League, he stops by and talks to Alfred and establishes that Bruce has respect for him, and it's that block point. And then we see Superman zip in. Steppenwolf's axe just stops, and he's like, not impressed. And he goes to town on him. Yeah, better than the theatrical movie. He's punching the crap out of Steppenwolf, blasts him with his heat vision, tears off his horn. It's so amazing to watch. This is my Superman.
You're right there, my friend. Let me tell you, I love this joke right here with how much we shit talk Joss Whedon. I did tell you this a while ago. I like to imagine every time I see the Snyder Cut, Superman wailing on Steppenwolf is Zack Snyder wailing on Joss Whedon. Yeah, my God.
Yeah, I've seen that meme. It's great. Boom. But then, of course, I saw the vision of the Nightmare Future where Superman and Cyborg try to split the mother boxes, but it doesn't work. But thankfully, in the most weirdest way, the Flash stops it by using the Speed Force to turn back time.
Okay, so yeah, we do have to stop that about. So the heroes fail again. So they fail to stop the Unity, even with Superman, and Darkseid starts to destroy the planet, killing the League except for Barry. And of course, he finds out he has to break his one rule in order to save the world.
And that one rule is?
Of course, not go too fast. And ends up tapping into the Speed Force.
And the Speed Force is something that gives speedsters an extra boost in power. This, for instance, And this got an Oscar-worthy, and got the movie an Oscar for most cheer-worthy fan moment. Flash literally turns back time and prevents the unity from happening.
I know.
I'm like, he's vibrating so fast that the explosion's going right through him. He's going so fast that things are going backwards. It's just so awesome to watch.
I know.
And thankfully, with this extra boost in speed, he punches Steppenwolf and literally Wonder Woman slices off his horns and his axe, and he flies through the boom tube.
Yep,
and Wonder Woman decapitated his head, and Darkseid crushed his head.
Crushed his head to nothing.
And then Darkseid looks at the League and it's like,
there's no exchange, just a glare. Back at them, saying, "Don't come back, or we'll do the same to you."
The boom tube disappears, and Darkseid looks at Desant and says, "Assemble the armies. We'll use the old ways."
Darkseid knows that the equation is on Earth, no matter how long it... Because that's the thing, he's not going to boom tube to the planet, he's going to slowly fly his ass to Earth.
Makes time for more movies and prepare more heroes for the upcoming fight.
Yeah, see, many people are saying, okay, so if the Snyder Cut is quote-unquote canon, where is Darkseid? It's because he's flying millions of light years to the planet.
Because he exists on Apocalypse, which is known as part of the Fourth World, which is outside our universe and billions of light years away from Earth.
It's going to take several years for him to get here.
Exactly.
So that's why... So they do kill Steppenwolf, they throw his body away, they save the world for now, and the League is assembled. One of my favorite scenes, they do make the standing on top of the silo scene even better, with Superman offering a hand to Batman, lifting him up, and the Justice League is officially formed.
Yeah, and Superman keeps his black costume, which is so awesome to look at.
I absolutely love it.
Now, the movie wraps up the same, except, Barry gets a job in the crime lab, there's usual stuff like that.
Bruce and Diana and Alfred set up the headquarters of
and apparently Diana's wearing a different dress, apparently, because in the theatrical version it was red, this one is like blue or black.
I do like that, honestly.
Yeah, but
Clark resumes his double life as a reporter. Nobody questioning, hey, you were labeled dead the same day.
Hey, it's comic books. Shut up.
He rips open his shirt and the glorious black costume is there. I still wanted the beard and mullet, though.
Really? No, beard, yes. No mullet.
Mullet, yes. No. He should have had the hair.
Okay. Past that,
he was in the casket for 2 years.
Yeah, but past that, there's a little more.
Yep, so Cyborg decides to carry on the work of his father while Ryan Cho is made the new head of Star Labs following Silas Stone's death. Arthur decides to go see his father, which is immediately led up into the Aquaman movie.
Thank God.
And, of course, we have the epilogue where Lex Luthor still escapes from Arkham Asylum. Slade Wilson still appears on his yacht as
and talks about a League of Her Own, but also mentions about Batman.
Yeah, so Lex Luthor name drops that Batman is Bruce Wayne to Slade
and
Wilson.
I'm thinking, I know Lex Luthor's a genius, but how the hell do he know?
No, he just knows everything.
But then we get to the end of the movie, and
that was basically a setup for a movie that never happened.
Yeah, which this scene is what we call the Nightmare.
Yes.
It's basically an expansion on the Nightmare sequence from Dawn of Justice, where it looks like the bad future has happened, Darkseid has invaded the Earth, and Batman is leading a small squad of heroes, including Mera, Cyborg, Flash, and Deathstroke.
Indeed. It basically shows... I don't know exactly what this could mean because they confirm it originally took place 5 years after the story of Justice League. But now the DC Cinematic Universe has gotten to the year 2022 and the world is still the same. So I'm guessing that what happens is Darkseid is on his way to Earth. Either A, this is just basically more expanded stuff on the Nightmare stuff that would have been focused on had Justice League gotten more sequels, or basically the Nightmare still happened, it just happens later.
Exactly. So there's a whole thing where Batman is trying to get his heroes hope that they can stop Darkseid and everything, because Mera wants revenge for him killing Arthur because it turns out she loved him, and then that's where we get a bombshell. The Joker is here too, once again played by Jared Leto.
Amazing!
But thankfully, no tattoos, longer hair, and his lips look like they're bleeding, and he's laughing hysterically on how this is kind of Batman's fault.
Yeah.
So Joker goes on this whole tangent that basically the Nightmare is Batman's fault because he let Lois die.
Indeed, he did.
So Joker decides to present Batman with a truce card to make him stay on his side. And Joker said this: "If you do this card, I'd be happy to discuss you. Why you're sent to Boy Wonder?" to do a man's job.
Indeed, my friend.
And then
my goodness.
Batman says this. You know, it's funny how I've grown numb to death of people dying. Because when I saw Harley Quinn and she was bleeding and dying, she begged me with her last breath that when I killed you, and make no mistake, I will effing kill you, that I do it slowly. I'm going to honor that promise. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my god!
Yeah.
It was nuts. And then Superman appears all ticked, and everyone's preparing to ready, and Flash suits up and ready to run. The nightmare ends, and Bruce wakes up back in his house.
So now here's the name drop of all the other characters that got left behind. Barry Allen meets Iris, which Iris West, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So Iris West, played by Kiersey Clemens. She was edited out of the original theatrical version.
Thanks, Warner Brothers.
She will be in Ezra Miller's solo Flash movie next year, though.
Because she honestly, she seemed like the right person to be Iris. Because, of course, there's Candace Patton in the CW show, which she does fine.
Yeah.
But in more recent seasons, Candace Patton's kind of gotten a little as Iris, if I'm being honest.
Oh, my God.
We'll get there. But, yeah, this version of Iris, I feel like we'll really get a lot in the Flash movie, and I can't wait.
I'm warming very much up to the idea of Iris being a person of color.
Yeah, because originally she was white.
Yes.
But the fact that more recently, thanks to the New 52 and some other stuff, Iris West is now black, I like it.
Heck,
it's a nice change of pace. Because in the more recent Matt Reeves Batman movie, Jim Gordon is black. So.
Yeah, so we need more of that stuff, my friends.
Yeah.
Barry does save Iris from a car accident, which of course will be cementing their relationship for future stories.
And her knowing that he's a fast guy.
Which, of course, I love that very much.
Yeah.
And, of course, the biggest name drop is when Martha Kent is talking to Lois to get her back into the world because the world may need Superman, but it also needs her, too.
Exactly.
It's revealed to be the Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, lesser known DC hero, an original founder member of the Justice League in the comics, but, But, yeah, it also turns out he was Commander Swanwick from Man of Steel.
Oh, my God.
So, apparently, Martian Manhunter, since he's been on Earth, has been a commander in the United States Army for a long time. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, all that power.
Yeah, so he was an alien the whole time.
We were so psyched. We saw Martian Manhunter, holy crap! So at the end of the movie, Martian Manhunter talks to Bruce and says that the anti-life equation is on Earth and they need to be ready for Darkseid's attack.
Yeah, I know.
And with that, Bruce establishes a relationship with Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter flies off into the distance, ending the movie.
Indeed, ending it on a perfect note.
So, Mike, I've got one thing to say about this movie.
What?
I freaking love this movie!
Me too!
Despite it being 4 hours, it didn't feel like 4 hours.
No, but believe it or not, it tacked on $70 million more to the movie's budget, which means counting the theatrical and this together, which I technically have
Still
to
the
do,
most expensive movie ever made for superhero-wise?
$370 million.
Yeah, and actually, the Nightmare sequence, fun fact, was filmed during the pandemic and shot in Zack Snyder's backyard, which was awesome.
Amazed at how well they were able to recreate. Because that's the thing is, like, Warner Brothers was going to ship the movie out as was when it clearly needed millions more dollars of post-production work that they weren't willing to shell out. And of course, this movie almost wasn't made. It happened because we screamed loud enough.
Because we want it, damn it!
We want it.
And we got it. And Warner Brothers had to cave in. And actually, a few executives wanted to see it. Wanted people to see it. And we did. Unfortunately, due to what happened with Warner Bros. And everything, we're probably never going to get those Justice League sequels.
No, well, I mean, like, technically
we might, but who knows?
They said we will get sequels to Justice League. They're just going to establish way more characters before we do that.
Okay, I get it. So they're kind of really learning from Marvel and build up a bunch of characters before we get to the big team-ups.
Yeah.
It's honestly how you do it.
Absolutely.
But I hope Zack Snyder does continue his vision because as of this recording, Warner Brothers and Discovery are planning on merging, with Discovery taking on most of the stake in the company. And Discovery loved Zack Snyder's vision and wanted the Snyderverse restored from a lot of executives. And we're thinking, this could be it.
Really?
This could be the chance for the Snyderverse to be true because before everything with Whedon, Zack Snyder planned a whole Justice League trilogy.
Yeah.
2 and 3 were meant to focus more on the Nightmare, but yeah.
Exactly. So, of course, looking at the plot points of what the sequels were going to be, maybe it was for the wise that we moved into a different direction.
Yeah, because I think you said the second or the third movie mentioned the Riddler of all villains getting his hands on the anti-life equation.
Yeah.
Which would be awesome to watch, but the Riddler of all people?
And of course, well, that's the thing too. We forget to mention Lois is pregnant with Superman's baby.
Oh, yeah, and also reminds me of the scene at the end of the movie. So there's the scene where they get the Kent house farm back, and Clark thanks Bruce, and Clark's like, "How'd you get the house back from the bank?"
I bought the bank.
And I'm thinking, I remember the theatrical version, like, oh, haha, very funny. And then when I found out it was in this cut, I'm thinking to myself, so Snyder does know humor. Okay.
Exactly.
I kind of thought Bruce was saying congratulations to Clark because of congratulations on getting married and all that to Lois, not the pregnancy bit.
Really?
That's what I thought, but if it is pregnancy, I'm willing to accept that too.
Oh my
but
God.
so this podcast started gone on long enough, so can we just sum it up at least what we thought?
No, we got to get to the characters and the achievements. We can't leave our fans wanting more.
I know, right. So can we just say that the characters were really at their peak here?
Yes, exactly, my friend.
I'll say this, from his first debut in Dawn of Justice, I loved Ben Affleck as Batman. This movie just made me love him even more, because the fact is, this Batman dropped an F-bomb. And I'm thinking to myself, when has Batman ever done that before?
Nope, never.
Exactly. But the rest of the characters are great too. Like Ben Affleck's, basically Batman's chemistry with Diana is really amazing and just reminded me a lot of the Justice League cartoon, which I think Zack Snyder took a lot of inspiration of when making this cut of the movie.
Solid as heck,
yeah,
my
and
friends.
again, like the first Wonder Woman movie, Gal Gadot was just on point again. She did it awesome.
She really did, man. With all the slow-moving, slow action of this movie, she really captivated what made Wonder Woman great.
Yeah,
same
despite
with
despite Junkie XL's weird vocal track whenever she appeared on screen.
It
was weird, but I guess. But you were saying?
I loved Henry Cavill as Superman.
He did a good job as Superman.
Ray Fisher as Cyborg and Jason Momoa.
Although, as a fan of Cyborg, it sucks that in this extended cut, Cyborg didn't give us a booyah, but then I know the reason why, and I'm thinking,
dude, I'm going to stand right here and say I hated him saying booyah in the theatrical version.
Really?
Yeah, because that's not Ray Fisher's thing. That is Kyrie Payton's thing. That is
I know he's a character,
Payton's
but come on, different incarnations of characters exist, and they have different things.
The look of Ray Fisher saying booyah will always live in infamy. It's like, I should have known something was wrong the second I saw that.
I may like Cyborg saying booyah, but when I heard the booyah in the theatrical cut, I'm thinking to myself,
he's like, booyah.
I feel like,
he doesn't want to say
considering
that.
it's not kid-friendly, it makes sense, but I'm thinking to myself, this doesn't feel right.
Absolutely.
And now we know why.
Yeah.
But yes, Cyborg was the heart of this movie. We saw his powers. He had an inner conflict with both his parents dead, asking him to embrace death or something like that.
Yeah.
And him being the hero that helps save the world, it's amazing to watch.
It really, really was.
And Ezra Miller, he's a funny Flash.
Yeah.
He's grown on me. The theatrical version, I laughed at him enough, but when I look back, it's just a cringe. Looking at it in this cut, however, yes, he is an awesome Flash.
I can appreciate Ezra Miller to a degree. I also have to go clarify that he's not the...
What do you mean?
There's just a lot of stuff about him that just rubs me the wrong way.
Personally wise, acting wise, in real life.
No, he's a fantastic actor. He's the thing that's got a acquired taste. You know what I'm saying?
I get that.
Not to mention him calling out the KKK that one time.
Oh, yeah.
Or the fact that he just got arrested in Hawaii a few days ago.
Yeah, that was a whole thing. But let's remember we're talking about an awesome movie here.
I know.
I cannot wait for the Flash movie.
Oh yes,
it is very exciting. Right now, damn it.
My goodness.
But,
so we got that. We had Ray Fisher, Ezra Miller, Jason. Let's talk about Jason Momoa next. And I think that should be that because we've already clarified all the characters.
Okay, Aqua bro.
So Aquaman, I love Jason Momoa. I wish I could marry him now that I'm pretty sure he's single again. Which is
that's not what I heard.
No,
it's a bit unloved. It's a whole complicated thing.
So it's
Jason Momoa is just awesome as Aquaman. If you thought Aquaman was stupid, look at this movie.
I would love to bro fist him so hard.
Me too.
I would love to memes oh, can you do the thing?
But don't you think it's weird that this version of Aquaman felt like a frat boy?
It's like I don't want to say that, but I like it.
I don't mind it because I remember there's an incarnation of Aquaman from Batman the Brave and the Bold that yells outrageous, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I mean, it makes him cool, and then this movie makes him awesome, and I'm thinking, this is an R-rated comic book movie. Yeah. If you want an adult Aquaman, I think this is how you do it. And it kind of carried over to the Aquaman movie, which is a rating down, but still, it works.
He saved the movie for me.
Yeah, because he was just awesome. And I remember this one scene, the music accompanying him when he's walking out towards the ocean and drinking that drinking that bottle of alcohol, that music I play is like, here comes the king, and I'm thinking, yes,
the king.
He's a boss. He's a boss.
Indeed, and Willem Dafoe's performance in this version of the movie really does solidify that. What the greatness that Aquaman is coming up in.
Yeah,
here.
we'll get to that when we get to the Aquaman movie, but there's also, should we mention Amber Heard now or wait?
Wait, definitely.
You're right, let's wait, because there's more to that, but honestly, and of course the person played Steppenwolf. In the theatrical cut, what happened?
Sheridan Hines. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name.
I think so.
I've seen him in a handful of movies where he does an excellent job of playing the bad guy.
So he was basically typecasted for this movie.
No, because he did really good. I love seeing him in things. He was in First Man, and he was in He was in the last Harry Potter movie.
He was in Deathly Hallows?
Yeah.
Part 2?
Yeah, he was in.
Who did he play?
Let me see exactly who he played.
I think he played a Death Eater.
I'm not exactly sure who he played, actually. Because, I mean, like, I don't specifically remember seeing him in that. Oh, he played the role of Albus Dumbledore's brother.
He played Aberforth.
Yeah.
Aberforth Dumbledore. Oh my god, Aberforth Dumbledore got beaten by the Justice League. Yeah. It proves that DC's superior to Harry Potter anyway. Suck it, Potter fans.
It is, dude. Okay, I love Sheridan Hines, and I loved Ray Porter in this movie.
Ray Porter... His dark side was amazing to watch. Like, there's a whole scene where he, like, you see Darkseid in the flashback taking on the whole, basically, coalition of humans, Atlanteans, Amazons, or whatever. Like, the way Darkseid looked was awesome. It just, like, it showed that he was a badass warrior. And when he got cut down by the Legions, like, take me back, this is too much, or something like that. And the way Darkseid looked, just I'm thinking... This is Darkseid in live action. This is what I want.
I know, right? So like, solidified.
Yeah, and you thought Marvel was good with fan service. So, yeah, I want to see Ray Porter as Darkseid again, but I don't know if we'll see it.
I would love to campaign for it whenever possible, my friends, but we've talked about 2 versions of the same movie for so long. I will run through the accolades of the Snyder Cut before getting into our final thoughts.
All right.
So, of course, we've already talked about the Oscar fan-worthy moment of the Speed Force moment.
Yeah, which I thought was an interesting moment. I thought it wouldn't count because it was exclusive to streaming. Yeah, this movie's exclusive to HBO Max, so I don't expect to find it in theaters or anywhere.
The movie was nominated for a Best Fight MTV Movie and TV Award, The Final Fight versus Steppenwolf.
Really? Makes sense, because that fight was awesome, especially with Superman's bit.
Yep, Gal Gadot and the movie itself were nominated for Critics' Choice Awards.
Okay.
Which I did think was nice. Batman's tactical suit won the Concept Art Awards.
Really?
Which I'm thinking that's actually pretty
That tactical suit with the goggles?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
It did. Like,
that's actually kind of cool. That's actually kind of cool.
The film won special merit for Weta Digital at the special and like one of the special effects awards last year.
Oh, okay.
This movie won so many special effects awards last year.
Well, because it's visually amazing to look at.
I know, it's so freaking fantastic.
And actually, the aspect ratio goes too, because when you watch the movie, it's done in a 4:3 ratio, because if the pandemic didn't exist, Zack Snyder would have given the movie a limited theater run and had it made for IMAX theaters. Could you imagine what this movie would look like in IMAX?
God, I would have loved to have seen
it.
But
as of now, it's weird to look at in 4:3, but it's not distracting.
No, not at all, my friends. Not at all. So, the Justice League has been such a black stain on DC's run of movies for so many years, and last year the stain was finally cleaned off after 4 years of Windex, and now it's finally able to be looked at in a much brighter light, but the memories of what came before should not and cannot be forgotten if we are to make true superhero.
We're going to try and forget, because I'm going to say this in my final thoughts. I want to take my copy of the 2017 movie and burn it.
Yeah, see, I did, but then I must admit, folks, I will do my closing thoughts first. So I did recently buy a brand new copy of the Justice League version of the film off of eBay for film versions.
How much?
$5.
Oh, that's it? Oh, wow.
I paid $5 for it for posterity's sake. And I figured as much because I couldn't just throw it away. I couldn't just forget, because there's so much on the special features that could be used for, documentation in the future. I need to be able to look at the bad stuff no matter how bad it is in order to move forward with all the superhero stuff that we're going to be seeing very soon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Chris, would you like to go into your final thoughts more while I...
Honestly, when the first time I watched through the 4-hour Justice League movie when the movie ended and the credits rolled, I literally fell to my knees because this was one of the best movies I have ever seen in my life. Now, granted, it's not the best comic book movie in my opinion. Like, I can think of like a few MCU movies that are better than this one.
Yeah, me too.
But out of all the DCEU movies, because it technically is canon,
yep,
this one is my absolute favorite.
Superior.
Amazing action. The character dialogue is amazing. It fixed what the mistake the theatrical version was and made it a movie that you honestly can never get tired of. The length may turn off some people, but I don't care. This movie was awesome to sit through. I'll happily watch it again. I'm happy I have access to it via HBO Max. If you have HBO Max and you're willing to pay at least $10 a month for it, or $15 a month if you don't want any ads, watch it because it's awesome. And on HBO Max, you can watch it either in color or there's actually even a black and white version of the movie, and that's good too. But come on, everyone knows it's better in color, right?
Exactly.
So with that said, this is my highest ranking yet. I'm giving Zack Snyder's Justice League not a perfect score because it does have a few nitpicks and problems, but I will give this movie a 9.5 out of 10.
God damn.
Yeah, but as for the 2017 theatrical version of Justice League, it doesn't deserve a score because of all the mud it got dragged through.
You don't deserve a score.
Yeah, the first time I give a movie that does not deserve a score because of what it went through.
No,
the Snyder Cut basically amended it big time. Sure, the damage was already done, but people were so amazed by it, and this amazed critics. I don't care. This movie is so awesome, and if you have HBO Max, again, watch it. 9.5 out of 10, right there.
Yep.
Mike, what about you?
I will say, what can I say about this film that so many have not already said? The cinematography is fantastic. The performances are stellar. The script, while sometimes hit or miss, is leagues better than the actual theatrical cut.
You got that right.
I'll say that the characters are iconic. The movie's soundtrack is near flawless.
Yeah, plus not to mention the fact, this is like a love letter to DC fans because it pulls on some obscure references that DC fans might get.
Yes.
And it's amazing to look at.
I cannot agree more, my friend. So, all in all, my friends, I've loved DC since I was 4 years old. Seeing Batman in a film like this brought a tear to my eye with how incredible it was. The story of Zack Snyder's Justice League is one that will transcend cinema history, even though many will clarify and say, nah, it's only a streaming movie. It's not theatrical. The theatrical cut is canon. This is in an alternate timeline. It's like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what you have to say about that because I have solidified it in my brain. Snyder's version is true. It is honest, it is bold, it's loud, and it's proud, and it doesn't care who listens. It will make you notice it in both good and bad ways.
Yeah.
The storytelling, the characterization, everything in there is perfect DC. Not perfect cinema, but perfect DC. Zack Snyder learned the mistakes he made from the previous films, which, of course, as I said, are in stuff like D+s and F+s.
Yeah.
The DC Cinematic Universe needed a win in order to get a way out of the rut from where it was.
I mean, Wonder Woman helped with that, but
Wonder
this
Woman
movie
helped a lot, but the theatrical cut damned it for so many years. Justice League gets an F+ from me.
Not even an F-?
Not even F-, an F+. Because it is an above-average attempt at making a much better movie into something. So it's like, at its core, Justice League is above average. But it should have been so much more.
Yeah, but for Zack Snyder's League,
a B+.
That's it?
A solid B+.
I thought you would give it an A.
No, it's an amazing movie, but it's not that
Yeah,
amazing.
I mean, like I said, I can think of a few MCU movies that are better than this one. Could you think the same?
Yes, definitely. I can think of at least 10 or 12 MCU movies.
So,
that are better
but do you
than
think this is the best movie out of the DCEU? Because I personally think so.
I don't.
Why not?
Wonder Woman remains the best of the 10 movies.
Really?
Yes. Wonder Woman was so groundbreaking and so changing when it came out. Justice League had to be amended 4 years after its initial release.
I'll give you that.
Like,
I will give you that.
Had the film been released, had Snyder's version come out in 2017, I would definitely give it an A. But since it had to be mended, 4 years of time to pass. Oh my goodness.
I get that. But still, awesome movie, right?
Indefinitely.
Do you still think it's still Zack Snyder's magnum opus?
I'd have to go
like
through
his best film.
I'd have to go through all the movies that I've both seen of his and that he's made.
I feel like the one that's close to Zack Snyder's Justice League in terms of amazingness was honestly Watchmen.
No, I'd say it's like maybe 300.
Well, that too, 300. But also Army of the Dead.
Yeah, or of course like no, like maybe like Dawn of the Dead too.
Ooh, yeah. But still, this was honestly one of the best movies we've seen.
Yes, the DC Cinematic Universe brings us another stellar entry, my friends. Thank you so much for sticking through this kerfuffled mess of an episode. Please go support Zack Snyder and the Justice League Director's Cut on HBO Max whenever you guys can.
And don't forget, also you can buy it on physical media too.
Yes,
and of course keep the trend going. #restore the Snyderverse because God knows we need it.
Because Lord knows they will listen if we scream loud enough, if we refuse to pay their ludicrous prices and hold them accountable for the awful people that are running Warner Brothers. They will see the error of their ways one way or another, my friends.
Absolutely.
As long as we stick together and we stand for hope, truth, justice, and the American way.
And a better tomorrow.
And a much better tomorrow.
Yeah, but that's done and over with. So next time, we head back to the world of TV as we conclude the third volume of Ruby. But in terms of movies, we jump back to the MCU. It's time for the Avengers.
2012's The Avengers film.
And see how a Joss Whedon superhero film is done in a good way.
Yes.
So, yeah, but that's it for now. Until next time, I'm Chris.
I'm Mike.
This has been Behind the Screens. We hope you enjoyed this amazing, fantastic, amazing, stellar, double-length episode in a way. Have yourselves a fantastic night. Thank you for listening, and take care.
Stay and stand strong, my friends.